Good morning, everybody, and welcome here to the stream here to the video. For today, I'm going to be ranking every single game that I have ever played. I had, last year I had done my top 50, 45. I think I did 45 with 5 extras on there. I did my top 45, and I was like, do I want to spend time on a complete new video for that? I had played quite a few new games and things had moved around. But I figure, rather than doing that, I'm at a kind of a place where, with the amount of games that I've played and in my collection, you can see there's the 192 items here. Why not do this? This might be one of the only times I'll be able to do that, especially as I play more games. And so we're just gonna have some fun here. So I have literally every game that I can remember ever playing here. And I've recorded these from the beginning of time. If you look on the right hand side, the left hand side was just I was adding stuff here. But yeah, if you look on the right hand side there, these are all of the games. I'll go through this as we go along that we will be ranking against each other through Pub Meeple. Now, how Pub Meeple works, and if you have never visited Pub Meeple or someone who is very into board games and loves to rank things, even if you're not, they have a bunch of different other ranking things as well. But how this works is essentially takes two different games, pits them against each other, says which one would you prefer? You pick one, and then it continues that whole process through as many of the games as possible until it spits out this ranking. And so as we go out, we're gonna go through these, and I won't go through detail of every game. I will definitely make mention of, especially when they're closer or as the reasoning for certain games. I'll try to my best to explain things as we go along. We do have quite a few comparisons that's going on. Let's see if I hit rank. There are an estimated 810 comparisons. So there's quite a bit that will be going on, but I'm going to do my best to explain my thought process and everything. And yeah, we'll get a full ranking. This will kind of be in place of my top 50, 100, whatever you want to call it here. A couple caveats, like obviously if we go into this, there'll be some games that I didn't include expansions. And then for examples, just trying to find a good one here. There are some examples like for Munchkin, something I'll say. For games that have multiple editions that might have slight changes, but nothing too major. Like I played Munchkin and I enjoy it. But the one that I have on here is the one with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Munchkin, and that's the one I enjoyed the most. So that's the one I'm gonna put on here. But because they were so similar, obviously, I just kind of did that to streamline things a little bit. However, you'll see things like here, Monopoly and Monopoly Deal, or like Disney and Marvel Villainous, where they're still very similar. They have similar systems, but they were different enough to kind of warrant putting them on the list. And so there's a little bit of that going on as well. That's kind of the gist of things. I think I have everything kind of explained here. We've got everything set up. 192 games to rank. Oof. Okay, so what have I gotten myself into here? So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Here we go. Logo board game or Crokinole. For those who don't know, Logo board game is it's like not an offshoot, but it plays very similar. It's another trivia game. It's similar to Trivial Pursuit. There's a bunch of different questions, but about companies and their logos. But the Crokinole easily takes it for me. Fail, which is a party game, against Cross Crib, which is a variation of cribbage. I would take crib or cross crib. Now here's this bounce off. You're hitting throwing the little ping pong balls, trying to get 4 in a row. And connect 4. You're also trying to get 4 in a row, but you're just dropping tiles. This one, Connect 4 is a pretty a basic one. It's very solid. Whereas I love this is one that Bounce Off is one that I played a lot at when I worked at at a drop-in center here when I was running that, and I've had a blast with Bounce Off. So I'll go Bounce Off. That one's a good one. And here's another one, Othello, which is more of an abstract game, trying to control more of the board. versus Super Fight, where it's a complete party game, complete opposite, where you're making up like superheroes, or taking cards, giving them abilities, or like things that either will add or detract to who they are, and see who will win in a fight. Um, I find I like Super Fighting with the right group; it can be really good, but I find it can be a little bit too abstract here. I'm going with Othello. This one's a little bit closer. Uh, Killer Bunnies, Conquest of the Magic Carrot against Tiny Epic Western. Uh, and again, I won't just like go through my process through absolutely everything, but this one I like. I like what Tiny Epic Western does, kind of with all the unique mechanics. It is fairly close, but I think I'm gonna go with Tiny Epic Western. Twice as clever. I know a lot of roll and writes. There's been a lot of roll and write recently. And Eight Made Empire is good. I feel like I've seen a lot of what it has to offer, and so yeah, we'll go twice as clever. Oh, here's a good one: Looney Tunes Mayhem versus Bonanza. They're both really good games. Bonanza, obviously, you're growing your bean fields, and Looney Tunes, you're taking the Looney Tunes, fighting against each other, trying to score up to a certain amount of victory points or knock the other team out. This is close, but I'm actually going to give it to Looney Tunes Mayhem. I mean, I'm someone who loves skirmish games as well, and this one has gotten a lot of plays recently from myself and my wife, and from some other people here as we've been learning that. So Looney Tunes for the win. Okay, Potion Explosion, Tiny Epic Galaxies. Here's the thing. I probably think Potion Explosion could be higher if I had it physically, because they have that really cool contraption with the marbles that are literally plopping down. I think that adds to a lot of the appeal of the game. Obviously, there's a great game there, but I think playing it on the app, it just doesn't give you the same feel. Whereas with Tiny Epic Galaxies, I mean, they don't have an app, but I actually do enjoy the game that's there. It's a very solid. I think as far as scoring, especially when you're playing with smaller player counts, the scoring is very tight, where it always feels like you are close with the people around you, and there's always something to do. So Tiny Epic Galaxies here. Both party games. I'm gonna go with Secret Hitler on this one. Uh, you're gonna so small side note. You're gonna see a lot of Lego games. I was in a bit of a phase where I wanted to collect a whole bunch of Lego games. I love Lego. I love the idea of Lego board games, and especially those like super tiny meeples. Um, but it got to a point where, like, obviously with Lego being expensive and stuff, I'm like, I'm not gonna collect everything. And some of the games were very kind of varying in quality. However, City Alarm is a really good one. I actually really enjoyed City Alarm, playing as cops trying to catch one player's playing as the team of cops against the other player who's playing as the team of criminals, and cops are trying to catch the criminals, and so on and so forth. 5 Second Rule is a good party game. We pull that out quite often. But I'm going with City Alarm here. I like that one a little bit better. Stone Age, worker placement, placing them to collect resources, build buildings. Wizard, a trick-taking game that involves a betting element. I have a lot of great memories with Wizard, so I'm gonna go with Wizard there. Checkers and Anomia. Again, I put Checkers on because it's a game I've played, but I would easily play Anomia here. Uh, Here's another closer one. The Crew, Quest for Planet 9, and Hive. I probably would go with the Crew here, just because and it is totally just a me thing, but it's like I'm not the best at abstract strategy games and something like that. I love the design of Hive and what they do, but it's just I can't wrap my brain around it. Whereas like the trick taking and the co-op element with the Crew, I love. I absolutely love this one, so I'm gonna go with the Crew. Like Minds and Say Anything. Like Minds is a party game where you're like with a partner, and you're trying to write down in a short amount of time like as many answers in a certain category, and you're trying to get as many of them to match up. Great in concept, not the best in execution in my opinion there. However, Say Anything is like apples to apples, only you can, rather than being limited to the cards, you can say whatever you want. So easily Say Anything. Coup and Wingspan. I'm gonna be honest. I know there are a lot of people who love Wingspan. I like it. I like it. It'll be probably higher than most things on the list, but I love playing Coup. I've had so many great memories with that. Every time I think it, I'm like, I'm sick of it. Next time I play, I'm like, this is amazing still. Um, Stuff Happens is another party game that again, it works, but there's a lot very much like it. Football highlights. Smash Up and Saboteur. These ones have a similar category where they're a little bit older, and I've played both of them. They're both really, really good. Ah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Smash Up. I think it has just the edge. I think partially because if you were to talk to me about it today, and that's part of it, right? The idea that if if you were to ask me today what I would rather play, this would be my list here. Um, and what was it? Yes, I'd probably play Smash Up over Saboteur at this specific moment of time. All this could change here, but that's what we're gonna go with now. Suburbia and Pictionary. I actually didn't really like Suburbia at all. It's not one of my favorite. I'll play it every once in a while, but Pictionary takes the cake here. Werewolf, a classic, or if you like grew up around the area, I always known it as Mafia. Um, and Clue, Discover the Secrets. Now this is basically Clue, except the Discover the Secrets version actually gives each of the players a special power, which I find very, very interesting. So for that reason, and I like Werewolf. I like in a great group, it can be fantastic. You can have game experiences that are like no other, but you can have just as many awkward experiences, especially with like some people who might go out first or yeah, I think it's very much dependent on the game group, whereas Clue I think is a slightly better game there, so I'm gonna go with that. Root, one of my all-time favorite games. I've covered it a couple times on the channel. I've played some games. And Doomlings, which is a recent game that I've played, actually like just came out. My friend got it, and we've played it. Fantastic game, but I still like Root better. Neuroshima, Hex, and Hearts. I've had a couple trick-taking games that I've already clicked on. However, I like the skirmish genre more. And Neuroshima Hex, I discovered it this year. So cool. We're gonna go with that one. Nuns on the Run versus Risk Star Wars Edition. Again, my favorite Risk there. It doesn't even feel like regular Risk. You could almost put the Risk on there. But I'm going with Nuns on the Run. I think it's a little bit better there. Hidden Leaders versus Game of Thrones. I I have the app for Game of Thrones, or like the digital edition. I want to get into it more, but there's so many other games that I just kind of gravitate towards. And Hidden Leaders has, like, the couple times I've played, I've actually really enjoyed it. So Hidden Leaders is moving there. Camel Up is both a fantastic game, but Camel Up kind of takes the cake a little bit more. I've had more just absolutely amazing experiences here. Dutch Blitz versus Racco. Dutch Blitz, 100%. We're a big family with the Dutch Blitz. Um, yeah, we get a lot of those a lot more plays with Dutch Blitz, I should say. Man, my words are not working today. Hmm. Also very close. So yeah, Dominion versus Shadows over Camelot. I'm going with Shadows over Camelot, just because it's been a mainstay. It'll probably be in my top 10 for at the very least a long time, if not till the end of time. There's like a few games that I just know will for sure be in my top 100 till the end of time. Shadows over Camelot is one of them. I have been getting into Dominion more lately. They released the early access for their app, and it's really good. I'm discovering it a lot more. Here's another Lego game. This one is less fun from my my understanding. And then Yellow and Yanks. Again, I've played this a couple times. Seems pretty good. I don't mind it actually. It's just again something the mechanics are something that I don't necessarily I the way my brain is wired, it doesn't work with me. But I'll go with it here. Exceed versus On Tour. Now, Exceed is another skirmish game. Surprise, surprise. That plays like a 2D fighting game versus On Tour, which is another roll and write. Trying to map out your tour. I've covered it on the channel as well. Exceed's much newer. I find it's a really refreshing system. I wish there'd be more characters that weren't based off of fighting games because I don't play a lot of them, but I do enjoy Exceed a lot more in this instance. And I've played On Tour quite a bit. I think it's kind of like I'll go back to it, but it's yeah, whatever. Takedo versus Mousetrap. We're going with Takedo, even though it's not my favorite game. Here's more of the classics here. Hi Ho Cheerio, where you're literally just spinning and picking cherries and letting the game play for you. versus Millborns. I mean, I remember times that where I would be sitting at my grandparents' place playing this game and just having just crazy amounts of fun, just seeing what happens. But Millborn is gonna be what wins out here. Outburst versus Star Wars Epic Duels. Now, for those who don't know, obviously I have both Star Wars Epic Duels and Unmatched. Do I want to keep it that way? Yeah, we'll keep it this way. Unmatched essentially is a re-implementation of Star Wars Epic Duels, and I've played it a couple times. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun, but you can tell it's outdated. Whereas Outburst, I again pull this out numerous times with parties. Here's two Lego games. Magma Monster sucks. Orient Bazaar is actually pretty good. So there we go. I put this one again. I've played it once. It's a game. Whatever. Heroica, this is an underrated gem. I actually, of all the Lego games that I gave away or sold, this one is the one that I kept because it's kind of like a dungeon crawl but for kids. And I'm like, for my future family, like this is something that is absolutely perfect that I would love to play with them. So I kept that one. Going with that. That will be up here. Spirits of the Forest, again, I've played it a couple times, whatever. And then the classic Ticket to Ride, no question. Terraforming Mars against the Mind, love both. Terraforming Mars is one they're kind of on different ends of the spectrum. Where Terraforming Mars is one that I played very few times, but I would love to get to the table more if it wasn't so long. Whereas the Mind is a nice short game that I've played quite often. And again, I've seen what it has to offer, but it still provides a decent experiences. So what do I choose in this instance? I think I go with the Mind because I probably would play it more than Terraforming Mars. Pie Face is a fun party game for like one or two times, or with the right group, just for the heck of it. But King of Tokyo is a much better game. Spyfall versus Sequence. This is actually close because I think Sequence is quite fun. It's not much, but it's quite fun. In Spyfall 2, I think you do need most party slash social deduction games you need a good group with. And there are better social deduction games in my opinion. So I'm actually gonna go Sequence. So it's a little bit of maybe that's an upset. Who knows? Headbands, again, you could do this with like literally anything. We played it the other day, or like a version of it with Christmas cards. It's a classic. And The Boss, which is another worker placement. I haven't played that in a very long time. From what I remember, I enjoyed it. Let's go with Headbands. Magic Labyrinth versus Mind Trap. Love riddles and solving clues with Mind Trap, but as a game, it doesn't even hold a comparison. Magic Labyrinth has a really actually neat mechanism. That's a very underrated game where it's like you have a token, and underneath there's like a marble, so it's magnetic, and there's a maze going on underneath, but you don't see it on the top, and so you're trying to maneuver around and try and collect your item and bring it back, but trying to figure out how the maze works. I actually really enjoy it. It's got a really neat table presence. Very underrated game. I actually recommend to check it out if you ever come across it. Hey Zero, how's it going? Good to see you in the chat. Azul versus Tiny Epic Kingdoms. These are two classic games. Tiny Epic Kingdoms, I wish I could get to the table more because I actually really love this game, this theme. Part of it's because I played like the old like Warcraft 3, and this is like a smaller condensed version of that, in my opinion, especially with the expansion. And Azul's such a classic. That one I have gotten to the table often. I would play Tiny Epic Kingdoms. I actually really love that game. Candyland and Flux. I don't like Flux, and Candyland is very. These will both be bottom tier, but yeah, Flux. It gives more options, even though it's crazy. These are both small games. I feel like I've seen a lot of Suro. Love Suro. It will be high up there. And it probably would have the staying power than Hey That's My Fish, but for right now, I'm going Hey That's My Fish. Phase 10, classic card game. Clever Cube, another roll and write game. We had a twice as clever. I mean, there's more options with Clever Cube, so we'll go there. Patchwork and Code Names. Oh, that's right. Patchwork has like the polyomino. If you like Tetris, kind of like sorting things, that'd be a great game for 2 players against Codenames, the popular party game. I like Codenames a little bit better. IQ 2000, another. Oh, these are both low tier games here. This is a trivia game, which I had some fun at my grandparents' place with it. It's all right, but it's very outdated against Twister, who is not obviously not me, but not the game itself is it can be fun with the right group, but it can also be equally as awkward. We'll go with IQ 2000. Yes, hey, that's my fish. Is I discovered it this year as well, and it's grown. I've actually had a lot of success. Small quick story. I actually remember we did a youth event going into one of the nearby cities, and so it takes about an hour and a half. We're driving in our different cars, and with my youth boys, because it has a really good app there. I introduced it to them, and we played it about throughout for half the trip essentially. They absolutely loved that. We played Hey That's My Fish there, and we played Sentinels of the Multiverse coming back, and so it's like get the little hook in there. Yeah, so small story time a session there. Taboo against Tiny Epic Defenders, classic party game, but yeah, Tiny Epic Defenders I actually very much enjoy. Scrabble, great word game if you're playing with someone who is a very similar level as you. And Settlers of the Stone Age, which is a really neat implementation of the Settlers of Catan. Excuse me. So I'll go with that one. And speaking of which, Sentinels of the Multiverse against Small World. I enjoy Small World. I prefer, in my area control games or things like this, that you're controlling as one race the entire time. This one you're switching between multiple races, and it works. It's very, very, very good. Just again with the way my brain works, it doesn't. It's not something that I would go to over something like Tiny Epic Kingdoms, but I play it with my family all the time. It's really good regardless. But Sentinels of the Multiverse is just a little bit better there. Hungry Hippos against Six Nymph. Six Nymph takes it. Skippo and Redemption. Redemption's kind of like if you kind of hang around like Christian circles, it's kind of like a Christian Magic the Gathering. That's the very simple thing. It has a lot of like biblical figures and everything. And actually, it's a good game. It's a really good game. So I'll go with Redemption. Um, Catchphrase against Snake Oil, 2 party games. Snake Oil I actually really like. Catchphrase is classic. Like I actually really enjoy Catchphrase as well. Snake Oil is you're selling products to someone who is in need of a certain situation. Maybe there's someone who's going to the prom, or someone who is like someone who's wandering, a lone wanderer is what I'm trying to say. And you're just selling these wacky products. If you're good at role playing, you like really get into those characters. Snake Oil is fantastic, and so that's a really good option there. Chutes and Ladders is basic. Masterpiece is actually, you'll see a little bit later, Masterpiece is actually very underrated in my opinion. I'm going with Masterpiece. You're selling pictures and everything, kind of bidding and everything as you go along. Marvel Villainous easily overtakes Spoons. Spoons is a great game as well. Oh, Rival Restaurants versus Clank. I just recently got into Rival Restaurants. I played it once. I liked it. I want to play it more just to see, just kind of dive deeper. But I'm gonna go with Clank. I played Clank a couple more times, and it's just so good. It's so good the way they have they kind of integrate all the mechanisms. Scattergories, a party game I played many times. I don't like how it's how loose it is as far as like you have to judge as the individuals as to whether it works or not. You can get some conversations, but it's not the type of conversations I normally look for in a party game. Stratego Transformers, I actually really enjoy Stratego, and the Transformers version like kind of elevates that to the next level. So we're gonna go with that. Galaxy Trucker versus Mastermind, 100% Galaxy Trucker. Carcassonne versus Onitama. I don't know. Again, this might be not a shock, but like for some people who love Carcassonne, like I that's fantastic. I really don't care for Carcassonne. Onitama takes it here. Quick Cups, again, you're just moving cups in a certain order versus Charterstone. I want to finish Charterstone. I've started it on the app like 2 times, and I would get like a little bit in and be like, man, this is so good, and then just completely drop. But I'll one day I'll finish it. Quelf versus Exploding Kittens. I like the silliness of Quelf if you have the right group, but Exploding Kittens I think is a little bit more solid as a game. It's quicker. You can have multiple like just fantastic sessions potentially, and then you follow up with Night of the Ninja, which is even better party game. So good. Lost in Translation. It's yeah. There's many games that are very similar to it that are better. Night of the Ninja. NHL Icebreaker, which is essentially war with NHL cards, where it's like you play something and it like moves in a certain direction. It's very crazy. I enjoyed it as a kid because I love hockey. My brother and I would always play this against each other. But Sorry's I would probably play Sorry over that. Uh, Love Chess and Concept. I'll probably go with Concept here. Pachisi and Sushi Go Party, not even a question. Santorini and Heroescape. I got introduced to this by Tater Tots, actually. Again, fantastic game. I think I like the elegance of Santorini, though, a little bit. And now we get into, so you'll notice that we're seeing Crokinole again. So now, here's where it gets really interesting. If I choose Crokinole, because I've already ranked it with something else, let's say if I were to choose Crokinole, which I will, because I actually do like it over Scotland Yard, now it gets replaced by what I previously ranked Crokinole over. So because I ranked Crokinole over the logo board game, now it produces this result. And in this case, I actually like Scotland Yard over the logo board game. So it's going to slot itself right into that area. Cross Crib. I think did I mention this is a variation of cribbage that I really enjoyed, and Apples to Apples. It's been played a lot, but I probably would still I just prefer regular crib at this point. I'll go Apples to Apples. Bounce Off and Stockpile. So Stockpile where you're kind of managing the stock markets here. This is actually somewhat close. I forgot how good Bounce Off was, just as a fun dexterity game. So simple, but it's really neat. I like it. Uh, I'm gonna go Stockpile. I'm a math type of guy. I love that. Oh, this is not even close. I will go Gloomhaven over that. Tiny Epic Western against Guess Who. Guess Who is fun. It's more fun when you can use either like real life people or like you switch the characters for like characters from your favorite TV show, video game, etc., and then you kind of mix it up that way. But otherwise, I'd gladly go Tiny Epic Western, and I'd put Killer Bunnies over that as well. Twice as Clever over Can't Stop. Can't Stop being a push your luck game, trying to move your pieces in and push your luck as far up. But if you roll the wrong numbers, if you're trying to, you can only go up 3 categories at a time, 3 numbers at a time. If you roll a combination of numbers that doesn't match, you bust. I find myself playing Twice as Clever more than I do Can't Stop, and I actually really like it. This one's a little bit closer. I'll probably go Can't Stop here. Oh, Looney Tunes against Just One. Man, so many great games here. I'm gonna go with this one just because again it has a little bit more spice, but Just One is a classic party game that I think I'm gonna put over Bonanza here. Yep, Tiny Epic Galaxies, Potion Explosion, both go over Trouble. I like Secret Hitler. This is a new party game that I personally got introduced to this year. I know it's been around for a while, but there's a lot of videos on Secret Hitler. Yeah, Pit. This is actually fairly close. I do enjoy the timeline, trying to figure out where in the timeline something fits, but I also enjoy that card trading game. If I were to do this last year, it would have been Timeline. However, this year, oh, still Timeline. Just barely, just barely. And I kind of alluded to this earlier, but with Werewolf, obviously now we have the variant, not variant, but the kind of offshoot One Night Ultimate Werewolf, where it takes that, puts it down to one night, and makes it more chaotic. 100% will choose this over any like the regular Werewolf or the other games there. What Do You Meme is another kind of apples to apples like game. It's fine, it's okay, but I would rather play. Ooh, yeah, I think I'd still rather play that there. I'd rather play Anomia over the classic Aggravation, and then I go with Aggravation here. I play the crew over baseball highlights. Baseball highlights is okay. I feel like if it had a better quality of components, it'd be better. Um, However, I will choose it over Hive. Hive is whatever. Trivial Pursuit, my favorite Trivial Pursuit, because you don't actually necessarily need to know things to win. You can just bet on your opponent not knowing things as well, and you can win that way too. Um, I would like to try. I recently saw, what was it? No Rolls Barred. They did a really funny concept with this one, with just regular Trivial Pursuit, but but instead of trying to get it right, you had to get it wrong and make the other person laugh. So it completely flips it on its head. I would love to try that instead, but I'm going with Say Anything for this. And then Trivial Pursuit is better than Like Minds. And here's Munchkin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over Coup. I like Coup a little bit better. This one's actually hard for myself. However, I think I've had one too many games of Munchkin where it was like it just kind of it went wrong. I think it can be really good. I think you can get really good games of this, but Wingspan I think as is a consistent good. Football highlights that I like a lot more than baseball highlights. I think there's more variability. So when those two meet, if they ever do fully meet, you'll see this one much higher. Perfection, I mean, it's a fun little activity. I would actually play Perfection over Stuff Happens. Just straight up. Citadels, I have played it twice. I would love to play it more. So much more that I'm gonna put it over Smash Up. There we go. Pictionary, the game of life. I have a soft spot for the game of life. I actually sometimes I will genuinely enjoy just sitting and just letting life happen, almost kind of like role playing, being like, oh hey, this happened in my life. Um, so this is probably gonna go a little bit high. And the 40th anniversary edition is great too. But Pictionary is a classic. Yeah, it's better than Suburbia. I like it better than Suburbia. I will play it more than I will Suburbia. Monopoly Deal, I actually really like Monopoly Deal as opposed to the actual Monopoly. Oh, and Root's better than Decrypto. I love Decrypto. It's a great party game. I'm gonna even say Doomlings is better than Decrypto. I need to play Decrypto again though. Maybe if I give it another a play, because again, it's a fantastic party game. It's up there with like Just One, Wavelength. I will play it often, but I think right now I just with where I'm at this moment, Doomlings is better. Legendary, I don't mind deck building, but I haven't played it in a while, and I feel like, especially with the app, Neuroshima Hex is just a little bit more accessible for myself recently. I will play Legendary over Hearts, though. I like Sagrada much better. Hidden Leaders. Again, because I haven't played that much of Game of Thrones, I want to. But I think at this specific moment, if you were to say, do you want to play a game of, if I had like 3 hours to play a Game of Thrones or Blocus, even multiple times, I think at this specific moment I go Blocus. Blocus, however you pronounce that. Camel Up, again, a classic in our game group. Onirim is much better than Ramsey's Pyramid. That's not one of the better. It's an okay Lego game. It'd be like mid-tier Lego games. Same with Monster 4, so Dutch Blitz is better. I forget how Monster 4 fully works. I just remember thinking, oh, this is okay. I think it's very, very similar to like a Connect for like a tic-tac-toe with 4 people. So I'll go Racco. I enjoy that. Easy Shadows over Camelot. Dominion easily gets that. Hero Realms, I understand it and like it a lot more than Yellow and Yanks. Oh, like one of my top party games against one of my top skirmish games. Lately, I've been riding fairly high on Exceed. We're gonna go with that, and then Wavelength. Takedo, which I don't love as a game, it's okay. Against Cake Duel, which I played a couple times, and again, it just Cake Duel. I think if I remember correctly, I think the mechanics are all right, but there's nothing that's very memorable in my experience with that. So I'm going with Takedo here. I will play Cake Duel over Mousetrap, 100%. Telestrations is a classic. Will never. Yeah, it just holds a special place in my heart. Outburst is better than Ratuki. I would say Star Wars Epic Duels is better than Ratuki. Oh, I have to remember a little bit because those two are both games I haven't played recently. Lego Orient Bazaar versus King Domino. I think I'm gonna give the edge to King Domino. But again, Orient Bazaar, in my opinion, is one of the better Lego games that are out there. Fortan or Heroica, that's the main thing, or King and Assassins, and then over King and Assassins over You Might Be a Redneck If. Uh, this is close. I actually really enjoy. Oh, they're both so good. They're both so good. Lately, I think I've been getting more into Love Letter than Ticket to Ride. So we'll do that. Here's another one. I actually have two versions of Uno. So I mentioned how most things I will just choose the best edition. I have Uno Spin and Uno Flip. Uno Spin is my favorite. It will most likely be higher unless I accidentally, rank things differently. But I actually like Uno Spin a lot more than the mine, just because of just how crazy it is. I never win because the luck is never on my side. But it actually there's a lot more craziness with that spin mechanic that makes it fun, or more fun anyways, than regular Uno. That you don't even have to house roll anything. King of Tokyo way over Battleship. Battleship over Pie Face. I like Bang. Bang is kind of like a guilty pleasure, almost. It's like I know there's like some clunkiness, but I enjoy that still. Headbands for adults versus Payday. I'll choose that one, and then the boss over Payday. Between Two Castles is another one. It's a good game, but I like the theming and just the look. I'm someone who really enjoys the visuals. Like I really to have that tactile nature of the Magic Labyrinth and everything, and just see how it works. Even if it's for maybe a younger crowd, 100% I'll choose Magic Labyrinth. But Mind Trap is going to be quite low. Regular Monopoly, again, I put it because it's very different than Monopoly Deal, but I don't like Monopoly. Kingdoms, Azul, easily beat it. Raise 3000, it was another one where it was like, this is interesting, but it was so slow. That being said, I would choose it over Flux, 100%. Hey, that's my fish. Labyrinth is another game that I think is very underrated, but I would not choose it over those two. Oh, now Cribbage is a classic against Clever Cubed. Clever Cubed, see, for both Clever Cubed and the original Gonchon Clever, or That's So Clever, I've had limited experiences with those. Like I just recently got into them this last month. I played them a lot recently, but I think Cribbage takes the cake here. I like Codenames more than Pandemic. I like Pandemic more than Patchwork. Dominoes over IQ 2000. Talisman's another one of those guilty pleasures. Again, just something where I can just go out and explore and adventure. And Kingdom Hearts, that's one of my favorite IPs. And here is where I have my favorite party game ever, dead last. Kind of like a battle royale, last man standing, kind of like Survivor, with like mechanics similar to Survivor where you're voting people, but it's more chaotic. 100%. Sentinels is over Jenga. Small World is over Jenga. And there's Uno Flip. I think I would choose Six Nipped over Uno Flip, but 100% over Hungry Hungry Hippos. We've had some pretty good matchups so far, and we're only like, oh my goodness, we're only about like what 1/6, 1/5 of the way in. So it's gonna get pretty. We've got some pretty intense matchups coming up. We'll see how long we're gonna be here for. Star Rails over Redemption. Snake Oil over Cranium. Cranium's okay. I don't mind it as a party game. I think it's been a while since I've played it, but I think again with the right group, it can be a lot of fun. But with the right group, almost anything can be fun, even a bad game too. Not saying that it is a bad game, but I would go Loaded Questions over Masterpiece and whatever was underneath that. Marvel Villainous over Unstable Unicorns. I didn't mind Unstable Unicorns, but it's just I think it was a little bit too long for what I would like. I think something like a Doomlings would replace it in this instance. And it has replaced it. So, Spoons. Ooh, I'm going to give the edge to Clank, but Catan, it's another one I really like. Again, just because I haven't played rival restaurants a whole lot. Catan has some staying power. Minotaurus is another one that's okay, but it takes quite a bit of time. It's longer than what it gives. I would still put it over categories. Galaxy Trucker gets the edge here. I do like Yahtzee a lot, which is why I'll put it next. Onitama's the better game there. I will play Chinese checkers over Carcassonne. The Chameleon is another one a party game that I want to play more of, but I just yeah. Even still, what I've gotten out of that game is much better than Carcassonne. Evolution is another I did not like it. I will like it over Quelf though. Night of the Ninja, then Quirkle. I'll play poker over Sorry. We didn't play test this at all is going to be super low on this list again. Yeah. Sushi Go Party is good, but against arguably my favorite board game of all time. Disney Villainous. I need to play some more Villainous. I would love to get some more games going there. Crokinole. Probably play Scotland Yard over Apples to Apples. Then that one. Then Cross Crib. Then the logo. Again, like it just depends. Gloomhaven's so big, and I haven't gotten it to the virtual table very recently. But it's so good. I'm gonna put it just over Stockpile, barely. But then Stockpile goes here, bounce off. Othello, Super Fight. Twice as Clever, I like better than Tiny. That's probably so far my favorite kind of Gone Sean Clever series game there. Yeah, Zero. Villainous is one that I've lately I've been playing with a lot of like the similar group of people. So before it was just like my wife and I who would play Villainous, and quite often. And then we like invited like a couple people, and so like with them we played a lot more Villainous as well. And so because of that, my wife and I had kind of moved back to other games. But even then, like we've been we've been kind of playing just other games in general, and I would love to. I still have almost all of Disney and almost all of Marvel. I'm missing one expansion for both, but I love it. I love both variations of it depending on kind of what mood I'm in there. Tiny Epic Western against Can't Stop. Give the edge to Tiny Epic Western, then Can't Stop, then Killer Bunnies, then 8-Minute Empire. Looney Tunes over Galaxies. Just one over Galaxies. But now, this is a very tough one because these two fill a very similar spot in my game shelf. I have both of them. Even though the mechanics are very different, I think I'll go with Bonanza here. One Night over Secret Hitler. Secret Hitler over City Alarm. This is tough, but it's not like... Again, this is in a... These are kind of like mid to low positions. There's like, it doesn't really matter. It will be mid. Let's go... Let's do Say Anything. I haven't played Baseball Highlights in a long time. All those over Trivial Pursuit. I will play Football Highlights over Coup, then Wingspan, then Munchkin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Citadels. Smash Up. And they were so close last time too. I will give the slight edge to Saboteur. Root. Doomlings. Decrypto. Neuroshima Hex. Sagrada. Here's the thing. With Nuns on the Run, one of my cousins has that game. If you haven't played it, you're playing as different. You're in a nunnery. You're playing as different nuns, trying to get these little these secrets, or you have these like desires that you're trying to go, but you don't want to be caught by the headmaster. And there's a lot of like hidden movement in it from the nuns. It's a great game. I'll place it above. I think, again, I would love a couple more plays, kind of on both sides to like really discover the depth of it to see if there's anything further. Because that's a close one there. Because I'll go legendary next there. I would play Hearts over Risk, Star Wars Edition. Camel Up, that's gonna be a classic. That will probably make top at least 20. I would. Onheim's gonna be up there. Then Hidden Leaders, Locust. I play Game of Thrones over Ramses. Shadows over Camel. Those are two really good games. Um, Dominion. Oh, the classic Mad Gab against Racco. I enjoy kind of the risk reward for Racco. You know what? I should play that very like sometime soon. We'll go Mad Gab next. So now we're about a quarter ways through. Exceed easily, wavelength. See, Hero Realms and Star Realms. I don't know if we saw Star Realms recently. Again, they're deck building games. I enjoy the deck building genre. It's not my absolute favorite. But in for both Star Realms and Hero Realms, I enjoy a lot of other deck building games more. So it's not going to make it super high. And this is so Tokaido's had it fairly easy for the most part. It's been the top of everything it's been ranked so far, but that's because it's been ranked against a lot of games that I do not like nearly as much. Like I would probably play. See, this is a close matchup to me because I really don't like Tokaido. I mean, okay, it's not that I don't like it. I will play it. I do. It has a fun, especially the app. I will play the app more than the physical board game. Um, I don't know. Tokaido will give the slight edge, and then Milborn. Milborn is another one. It's like has a guilty pleasure. I enjoy it a fair bit more. And Mousetrap has the little mechanisms and everything. Outburst, just because Unmatched is such a presence and beats out this, the King Domino and Orient Bazaar will probably move up above it. I wouldn't be surprised if I were like to play it today and be like, man, this is actually fun to have it move up. I don't see that's the thing though. I don't fully remember. Um, this one's a close one as well. I'm gonna give the edge to Love Letter and Ticket to Ride. But after that, we'll bring Heroica. There we go. Tiny Epic Kingdoms, of course. Gotta pull that and Azul above it. Then a lot over Monopoly. Yep. No. I'll play Monopoly. Here's the thing. I will play Monopoly more like the game more than I'll play Mindtrap as a game. But if someone were to be like, hey, here's some riddles from the Mindtrap game, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll list them. I'll try and figure them out. But again, the game itself, yeah, I won't count for points and everything. That's very. There's some it's just very weird as a specific game. Hey, that's my fish, Suro. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pandemic. I'd play cribbage over patchwork. Play clever cubed. Thankfully, I haven't had to undo anything like where I've made a choice and that's like, no, that's definitely not where it would be. Patchwork, Talisman. This is again close, but it's my favorite party game, and I love good party games. Sentinels does come close though. I'll play Small World more. I would play probably Settlers of the Stone Age, then Jenga. Six Nimpt. Again, this might change if I were to play more Star Realms or less Uno Flip, but I actually really like Uno Flip. Uno Flip's, yeah, very, very underrated. Cranium. I think Clank is just a little bit more streamlined, slightly. But then I go Marvel Villainous, Catan, Rival Restaurants. Again, two very close games. They will probably both make my top 10, if not top 15, but we'll go there. Sushi Go Party, Santorini, Heroescape. Right now it's Crokinole. Again, depends on how often I get Gloomhaven to the table. Can't Stop is better than Potion Explosion. You know what? I've had some really good games of Killer Bunnies, more so than bad ones, and I love that mechanic of like grabbing the carrots to give you a chance to win. So we'll go with that. Lately, 8-Minute Empire has just been above a Potion Explosion. I feel like if you're someone who's very much into uh, um, like the connecting games like Bejeweled, Candy Crush, you would love Potion Explosion. I think there's some really good combos in there. Um, and it's good. It's very good. But I'll go Guess Who. One Night. Now we're really moving through. We'll go Secret Hitler. Football Highlights. Again, despite with baseball highlights, it's an okay game with bad graphics. Football Highlights, in my opinion, is a good game with bad graphics. Both are neither of them is a looker, but The Crew. Say anything. Oh, dropped a peanut. Oh, hey, look there, baseball highlights. I'd still. Granted, I've only played Wingspan like once or twice. So maybe I just need to give it another shot. But for that reason, it's got to go a little bit lower here. Oh, this one now. This is a very close one. Oh. Neuroshima Hex, along with Exceed and maybe like, well, Looney Tunes, which have been a lot of skirmish games. But I've been discovering these games and playing them a lot over the year. So Neuroshima Hex would be in like the top contenders for like games that I've just learned. But Camel Up has been such a classic, especially recently. I played it like 2 or 3 times recently, and I've had such good experiences with Camel Up those rounds, especially when you play with people who are willing to take those risks. Oh, I want to go. Let's Camel Up gives like the slight edge, and then Neuroshima Hex. Well, I'd probably pick Onirim over Sagrada. Again, Sagrada's probably one of those because I have the digital app. It's probably one of those games that I would love to play physically, like just to roll a crap load of dice. These wonderful, like just have this beautiful board presence. The app is good, but it's whatever. It will be better than Hidden Leaders. Nuns on the Run. Shadows over Camelot just barely. Again, we're getting to some really good matchups here. Shadows over Camelot will barely edge out Exceed. I think I'm gonna choose Exceed over Dutch Blitz though. Now we get into some party games. 2 really good party games. I like the discussion with Wavelength. Dutch Blitz. Thankfully, I have people who are like a very similar skill level, especially with my family. But it's another one that runs into those problems. If you have someone who's very fast, you can just get destroyed or be the one doing the destroying. It's less of a competition, but it's better than on tour. Dominion's better. Dominion's moved quite a bit up for me actually lately. I'll choose Hero Rounds. King of Tokyo. I've actually played a lot of King of Tokyo recently with my youth group as well. I'd play Udo Spin over Love Letter. I would play Love Letter over The Mind. This is tricky. I'd probably play Ticket to Ride just barely. Then The Mind. Then Heroica. Then Terraforming Mars. We're gonna do a lot over Pie-Fei. Nope. That's where it ends there. Hey, that's my fish. I'm gonna give the edge to Codenames just because I've seen a lot of what Suro does. But Suro is there. Pandemic. Oh, this is another close one. And it sucks because these are both like high-rated games for me. But Dead Last is like they're both high-rated games, but I don't get to play them a whole lot. I need to get more games of these to the table. I will give the edge to Dead Last. Oh. Talisman is going to be my highest like guilty pleasure game. That is going to be like my ultimate guilty pleasure game on this list here. Clank. Galaxy Trekker I do enjoy. I'm just there's something about it that's like just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I wish it was slightly more streamlined, but I don't know how you could streamline that. It's just very much a a design that's more out there, and I think a lot it'll be a design that most people will either love or hate. I just managed to like it a decent amount. Marvel Villainous, Catan. At this point, I would go with rival restaurants. Actually, what's underneath here? Yahtzee. Oh, I'd probably still choose that over Yahtzee, but then I go Galaxy Trucker and Yahtzee over Spoons. Those power throughs. We're almost halfway there. And for most of them, because we're starting to get a decent, we're starting to get into a roll here. Some of them should go fairly quick. I'll play Carcassonne over Lost in Translation. Again, if you're playing Guess Who with like switching out the characters, it's better than Apples to Apples. That might be the caveat with that one, but I do like Apples to Apples more than Trouble. One Night Just takes the cake there, then Football, The Crew. Secret Hitler I've played like 2 times. It's so good though. It's that good that I would probably actually place it over Coup, just because. And part of it was the group we were playing it for it was a bachelor party. Like that was just wild. It was fantastic. I love that. Root is just I played a couple more games of Root this year than I think I did last year. I think that Root is still a game that I think has the capability of being my number 1 or 2. Kind of will stay around there top 3 for a long time. It's just whether I will get it to the table or whether like I have people to play it with, because it is a lot harder to get people into the game and invested, especially if you don't have a regular game group. And if you're watching this on YouTube as well, we'll put it up there. Let me know throughout the at the maybe at the end of the video what you would have rated differently here. Legendary would probably be better. Shadows over Camelot, 100%. Exceed just over Telestrations. I'll play Wavelength, slightly over Telestrations. Oh, these are so good now. Let's go Telestrations here. Then Dutch Blitz. Ratuki. Yep, so this is a wide swath of games here. So we're getting much closer. We're past the halfway point. Tiny Epic Kingdoms. And keep in mind, especially when we get lower, even though some of them will be a little bit like I might have some close matchups, especially when it's lower, they could change any day a lot more than my top, I don't know, 50 or so. Like the activity of where it moves, there is a fair bit, but like I feel like on for the good games they are more solidified there than any games that are way lower. I'll play Azul more than King of Tokyo there. Then King of Tokyo, there. Ooh. Again, I'll put Uno Spin there, then Bang, Monopoly. But be. Hey, Jeff Foxworthy's game is a little bit over Mind Trap. Let's go. Sorry, I don't mean to. If by chance Jeff Foxworthy is watching this, I don't mean to as a slight against him whatsoever. But I wasn't. Yeah, whatever. It wasn't super memorable for me. Hey, that's my fish. We've got. Let's go code names. I mean dominoes you can play quite a few games with, right? Like it's or like different time. I mean you could say the same with a deck of cards, right? There's some games that have like hearts poker that you play with a single deck of cards, and so it's kind of it's very loose with some of my kind of what I have determined, but I will play that probably over Phase 10. I will play Phase 10 over Scrabble though. I'm not the biggest especially when there's a big gap like Scrabble can sometimes have. I'm not the biggest word game fan. Six Nymphs, again, probably just because I haven't played Clank as much as Six Nymphs. I would love to get that to the table more. Marvel Villainous over Uno Flip. I'll play Catan over Uno Flip. I'll play this over Rival Restaurants. Whatever. You don't think about a lot of like the low tier rankings. This one's close. I think I will give One Night Ultimate just because it has I feel like I've had more, well, I know I've had more experiences with it, but with all the crazy gameplay, and especially with the type of people I play with generally, They've all been fantastic. I've had one experience where it hasn't been. Whereas Looney Tunes, that's still very new, could very well move further up. In fact, it's still going to be high up. I'll put that one in just one over football highlights. But I just need a couple more plays with that one. Football highlights, the crew. Again, Secret Hitler, I would love to get a couple more plays in. Coup over Crokinole, and then Crokinole. Mines. Oh, Root, just barely, just barely. But I'm gonna go Shadows over Camelot here. Camel up. Oh, these are like the two. Like if I were to have new games of 20 that I was introduced to in 2022, I think these two would be um at the top. Oh, this is so hard. This is so difficult. Nirishima Hex, I'm gonna give it there, but Exceeds following right after that. Give the edge to Wavelength, then Doomlings. Telestrations. Decrypto, if it was like, I feel like with telestrations, part of it is like if especially with new people, I can teach it within a couple minutes and I can get going. And like even having a practice round is enough. Like you just play it once as like a practice, but it still feels like a regular game because people will just understand it as you go along. Decrypto, with the way I have it, with that way I teach it, it's very hard for people to wrap their heads around, at least when I'm trying to explain it verbally. And I think it always, in all my games, like I always go 2 rounds just to like give it a practice and be like, okay, this is how you play it, and then they understand it, and then like, okay, scratch that now. We're gonna start completely over. And so I think for that, I think the Telestrations gets the edge just because of how accessible it is. But I do like Decrypto a lot. I'll go Dutch Blitz. Oh, just because I haven't played Citadels lately, that's over Dominion. These are some of the earliest games that I've played when I really got into the hobby. I'm gonna give Onirim just a slight edge there. Monopoly Deal, then Sagrada. I've played a lot of Outburst. It's still good, but it's not as good as some of the other ones. I'll still, you know what? I should play some Smash Up again. I really haven't played Smash Up as of late, as much as I would like. But it's like I'm thinking back and it's like, man, this would, especially with like Marvel Snap, like it's not even close to being the exact same, but it shares some DNA, and it's like, huh, this could, I should try it out again because you're still trying to win locations. Um, anyways, let's keep moving here. I go Saboteur over King Domino, then King Domino, then Nuns on the Run. Orient Bazaar. It's bizarre how it's gotten so far up. Bad joke. Uh, Legendary. Oh, now we're back again to the difficult decisions. Let's start. I think not again. Similar with Dead Last and Talisman, Kingdom Hearts. I don't get a lot of plays with Tiny Epic Kingdoms, which I would love to, especially because you can do a solo mode. I need to do more of that. Play more of that if I can't get it to the table otherwise. But let's go Dead Last, then Tiny Epic, then Talisman. Those kind of all fit that like that spot there where it's like they're all in a similar place. Sentinels slightly over Azul, specifically with the app. If you want to play a good app version of if you, yeah, as far as top rated apps, there's a lot. I'll probably do a top 10 at some point, but Sentinels is high up there just because of how much downtime and how much bookkeeping it lifts off of the shoulders of the players. Azul, King of Tokyo. Oh, I missed the original Gonshon Clever. Okay, because I haven't seen it at all here. So if Gonshon, like Clever Cubed, if I'll probably find a place for it. But if you were to put it in somewhere, you have that's pretty, or the second one, that's too clever, and then Clever Cubed is somewhere in the middle, and then Gonshon is like just underneath it. For any reference, if you made it this far to the video here, we're 2/3 in. Clever Cube though is better than Headbands. Again, need to get the boss to the table, but we'll go there. These are both games that I discovered early, and they were good, but not like my favorites. I think I'll go Patchwork, and then Between Two Castles. King and Assassins. What a boring name, by the way. King and Assassins literally describes the game because you're playing as one person's playing as one king, and the other is assassins. And so it's literally what game? What can we call this game? I don't know. What king? Either king and assassins. Let's just go with it. Slap it on the box. We're done. Like, I'm not gonna spend an insane amount of time trying to figure out what's better between Pie Face and IQ 2000. It's yeah. I'd put it over Santorini at this moment. And then Santorini. Actually, no. I lied. I will do Clank. Oh, especially because now Marvel Villainous. Yes, it's nice to sometimes have that uh, uh, the context of what's coming up next, because that sometimes helps with the decision making. I will put a Catan, then Santorini, then Night of the Ninja. Let's go Loaded Questions again. I've had some really good times with Loaded Questions. That I feel is another underrated one. I should play that one again. Because there's some with the groups I've played, whenever I've pulled it out, I've gotten fantastic results. I love the questions that they have on there, and it's a format that is similar to some other games as well, where it's like everyone writes the thing, one person reads it, and then another person tries to guess who said what. And part of it is you also choose a favorite. But I think of all the ones in that style, I actually like that one the most. That's why I would probably put it higher than a lot of other things. I'll put chess, then rival restaurants, then snake oil. Why did I do this? Why did I force myself to go through every single game? What this is getting a little bit mind numbing almost. We'll go and then a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't playtest this at all. Is the worst. Would not be a surprise to me whatsoever. Oh. I want to play One Night Ultimate Werewolf. See, I played that. Most of my gameplays have been with my brothers. But I would love to get this out at. I run like a monthly game night for young adults in the community here. I would love to pull it out and see how that experience goes in relation to Camel Up. I think Camel Up gets the edge just because of that. But then I go One Night. And again, Looney Tunes is so new against some of these other ones that it needs to stand the test of time. Looney Tunes and Doomlings are both like the newest ones that I've played, or that have come out that I've played, and so they will both kind of be right beside each other. Because again, they're both solid games. I love them. I just need a little bit more time. Then we have. I'll put Dominion over Twice as Clever. Again, if it was last year, Dominion would not have been this high. But Dominion's rose up quite a bit for me. I'll do Citadels over Gloomhaven. I'll do Gloomhaven over Onirim. We're getting close. We're getting close. We're almost at the 3/4 way mark here. Oh. And then Mousetrap. Look at us go. Look at us do this. Here again, it's getting very, very close. Especially with these two. But again, I played Villainous more than Dead Last. That's going to go over Sushi Go Party. Tiny Epic Kingdoms. I'll give the edge there. Sentinels. Both games with some flaws. Like little nitpicky things in my but I still love them. I'm willing to deal with some of them. Let's give the edge right now to Bang. Let's give it right now over there. Catan, Love Letter. I'm gonna go Santorini. Night of the Ninja. I will probably save more than Ticket to Ride, and then I'll flip that over. I will Uno flip that over. I'll even put the boss. Part of it is also because I like Hero Realms a lot more than Star Realms. I've mentioned that earlier, but you know, when you like one game way over the other, it kind of like moves that further down for you because like why when you've been exposed to something so good, why settle for anything less than that, right? Um, Chinese checkers. I also give a slight edge just because not just because of the game mechanics, but actually also as a kid I used to like imagine different scenarios of like armies trying to conquer, you know, these are like I used to use it in an abstract kind of just playful sense. So there is a little bit of nostalgia there that gives it that heightens it a little bit more than others for me, but realistically it's not like if as a game it's fine, it's good. I will just yeah, it's whatever. Those two are very similar games. You know what? I don't give categories enough credit. I do enjoy categories. Probably it would probably be higher on this list had I like if I were to redo it, but decisions have been made and I do not want to undo all the way back here. So we will we're just not gonna worry about this. Um let's go qualify. I like it more than flux. And then flux. Ah, see, this is going to be this I'm are we at the final like ultimate rankings here? I feel like we're close, if not at that point. And this is what I was hoping for, because these I think are my two favorite games of all time as of December 15th, 2021. 2022, too. Otherwise, some of these games are from the future. Uh, and again, if Root is able to get to my table more, I can maybe see it surpassing. But Unmatched is still unmatched. Shadows is an easy 3. Right now, again, if I get Disney Villainous to the table more, it would probably move up. I'm putting what again because played One Night a little bit more than Villainous lately. Twice as clever. I have played less of it just because I've been discovering the other kind of Gonshon series, the other clever series. But it's so far the best so far. So that how redundant. Um, keep moving down here. Nah, Catan's slightly better again. Love Letter. Here's the other thing, like with bigger games like Root and Gloomhaven, which I understand for a lot of people that's not big, but I value a nice game that's short and sweet, or that you can kind of get to the table. I would rather play more shorter quality games than bigger lifestyle games, and I think that's going to be a huge reason why Gloomhaven is not up higher, despite it being so good. Even if I were to get into the Jaws of the Lion, I don't think it would still. Maybe I'd be wrong, and maybe it would be higher, but I just don't. I'm not the yeah. I just because I can't get them to the table. While I respect the design, it does make a major impact when it comes to my top, you know, 10, 25, 50, my top games of all time, where it's like these are the games I would keep and play and just, you know, because as much as I would like to say, oh, if I had unlimited time, I'd play this because I probably would, but the reality is I don't, and I have to, you know, keep that in mind here. That being said, I think Gloomhaven's slightly better than Ticket to Ride. I'm get this is what are how long have we been here? We've been almost 2 hours. This is going to be a 2 hour ranking. I am definitely gonna need to cut some of this out, especially the really boring stuff. Um, I kind of gave Tiny Epic Western. I'm was good with it because I mean there leaves more room for it, but I'd like to play more of it. It's a good, you know what I it's very complicated, but it's good. I actually really enjoy how the mechanics are. They're all very weird, but it just comes together in a very fun way. Yeah, Tiny Epic Defenders, then 8 Minute Empire, Potion Explosion. We got to be getting close. Hive. Nuns on the Run. I play poker over Wingspan. And Stratego? Catchphrase. Yeah, sure. Wow, I have a catchphrase and taboo, which is essentially the same game, just like with more restrictions. Interesting. Let's do this a little bit. Here's the other thing. Timeline, I actually have played a good amount of games with Timeline. I think it really works. Especially, I remember doing a Super Smash Bros. Like with characters with a group of my friends one time, just like a fun little get together. And I had a bunch of different party games and whatnot. And Timeline's a really good addition that you can put into whatever. It probably, if I did this again, it would probably be higher. But once again, here it is. The good thing about this specific exercise here is that I'm actually like taking time to really go over like some games that are like, man, it's been forever. But like reminiscing on just how some of the really good game experiences, even if I'd never really thought they were fantastic games. So like even though I will not do this ever again to this extent, I would love to do this again. Evolution Climate is so fun. Haven't played the original one. The original one, I wonder if playing Climate will be better because I feel like I've heard that Climate was better, but I just like I don't know my original thought of Evolution was just that other games have done a similar style but a lot better and more streamlined. So maybe based off your recommendation, then Zero, I'll give it a second shot here, maybe, or play Climate. Maybe we'll have to get a game going on that one here. Um, where am I? Oh yes, we're back here. Why bother? We're almost there. Let's just. I think at this point, as much as I want this to be somewhat ish serious, we just gotta just get through this. Connect 4. Yep. We did it. Boom. This is the final result. So, starting from the very bottom, I won't actually like physically go through these, but let's go through. Yeah, 192 games. In hindsight, I thought this was gonna be a lot nicer. I thought this was gonna take less time than it did. The fact that it took 2 hours to go through all of this, just because I really wanted to rank to see how high Race 3000, the Lego board game, was, to see that it would end up in 170th place definitively. Let's go. I'll quickly go over some of these here, just kind of, and see if there are any surprises from myself. Because the good thing about this is like what would the cool thing is that I can kind of reflect and be like what I had expectations going into this, and just to see it this way, what I would change if I were to do this. But let's go through this. So going down here, I really am not surprised we didn't playtest this at all. It was last. I just nah. Hi Ho Cheerio beats most of those games, and so I like, yeah, that says something. Let's go. Like Minds, I knew it was gonna be low. It did end up a little bit higher than what I thought. Again, I was kind of going with the gut for towards the end there. But yeah, it was a little bit higher, I guess, of like all the surprises down here. I also didn't imagine Jeff Foxworthy would be that high either, but you made it to 186 there, Jeff. You can add that onto your resume of accomplishments, I guess. Going further here, so yeah, Evolution 174 again. I'm not super surprised. Maybe again I'll try the Climate version there. But yeah, a lot of these. Quelf, I think if I were to redo this, I do think I would put it a little higher. It's definitely one of those like doing weird things for weird things' sake, which is not like I'd rather just be weird and do weird things because I naturally want to. But I have played this like with my cousins and stuff like that, and we've had great game experiences. So I would probably put it up higher Not by a crazy amount, but it would go up higher. I think if I were to rearrange certain things here. So Quelf would be kind of the one big one. Let's see here. Lost in Translation, Unstable Unicorns, that's fairly good. Scrabble, maybe I would put up a little bit. Nothing too crazy though. Tokaido, I'm not surprised. I probably like switch, even like put Tokaido underneath, like right here. NHL, I would probably again put way lower. Uh, let's see. So nothing too crazy. Superfight, King of Assassins, Carcassonne. Yeah, let's go further up here. Let's hit the top 100. Cause or like just below. Like here we'll go with the honorable mentions here. And this is a pretty solid list. I hear, and the other thing is like if you were to ask me, especially depending who you are, if you were to ask me to play like some of these lower games, maybe not like my top, like the bottom, unless you were maybe like a kid who wanted to try something out. But like if you were to ask me, hey Tristan, do you want to play Scattergories or Ratuki? I would not say no most of the time, unless I knew it was not going to be end up being a good, like if it was not a good game group. Uh, I will probably enjoy it. That's the reality of it. Like if a game is low, I probably will still have a good time. But 100%, these are games that I love a lot more. I probably would. I'm a little bit shocked Pictionary is not in the top 100. I probably would put it higher. You have stuff like the boss. Guess who is like if you play around with it. Um, but yeah, I think some of these like the boss and Patchwork and Charterstone probably could break the top 100 if I played them more. We'll see. I was actually surprised a little bit that Settlers of the Stone Age made the top 100. If we look at the next set of 10, these ones I'm not too surprised. Scotland Yard I didn't think would make it, just because I haven't played it. Hero Realms barely made it through, which makes sense. But yeah, it's I don't know, something that I feel is neat. Hive was a little lower than I thought. I actually thought I would have Hive higher, but I think when you put it up against so many other ones, and it probably would be higher. Like 8 Minute Empire would probably be lower. Nuns on the Run maybe a bit higher. We'll see. Headbands I thought was gonna be lower, but again with the recent play, ended up higher there. I was surprised Baseball Highlights was lower. Um, let's go here. Go on the next group. Clever Q. It makes sense now, but I thought that would be higher. Wizards, Saints, Smash Up I thought would be a lot lower actually. And then I thought about like compared to other games, just like the very core concept, just like how simple and elegant it is, and it doesn't have to be crazy complex, but it's got a nice charm to it that a lot of other games don't, and so I respect that. I think that's why it's up there in 71. Next in the 60s, I don't think there's anything crazy here. Pandemic maybe a little bit lower. The Mind lowers is a little bit crazier, but again, I've played so many games too this year, and it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of good games that have come out. Tiny Epic Western, loaded questions. Again, here I think things like Uno Flip and Monopoly Deal might be surprising to some, but like I'm not super surprised they're here. Yeah, maybe I've played a lot of Uno Flip and that's why it's lower because I thought it would be maybe a little higher, but yeah, I'm not too. Bounce Off is one I'd completely written off Bounce Off as a game until ranking this list, and so that one's a little bit of a nice shock there, a good surprise. Uh, I'm not surprised that some of these like solo games went down, like On Tour and Onirim. That's kind of fair. Gloomhaven, again, upon reflection, I think that's where it is going to be just because of the situations that I've stated kind of before. Uh, Night of the Ninja I thought would be higher. I probably will go up the more that I play it, but that's that section in the 30s. The Marvel, I'm like again a little bit like I kind of it's one of those I want it to be higher, but I think it's good where it is. Dominion I thought was gonna be higher. I guess it just goes to show like how good or how much I enjoy those other games here. Um, go into here, and now we're getting to like really really good games. Like if I were to have, yeah, if really if I were to restart, if I were just to have the top 20, I would be happy for life. But these are really good games. Telestrations, I kind of hoped it would be, not hoped, that I thought it would be higher. Decrypto, I definitely thought it would be higher. I think there is a big drop if I kind of go to my last rankings. Decrypto was a lot higher there. Um, and then just outside of the top 10, oh, Talisman just made it, like, barely didn't make it. Like I said earlier, Doomlings and Looney Tunes, they could go up or down depending on the experience. Looney Tunes, I think, has a bit of a tougher chance because even though I love skirmish games, you look at my top 10, we have Unmatched, which is in its number one spot where it normally would be. We also have Neuroshima Hex and Exceed. Those are three major skirmish games. And to have four in the top 10, I feel like it would knock one down before I would have four specifically. But you never know. I actually really like that genre, and so we'll see what happens. But Doomlings I could see going up or down, depending on what happens. Football highlights I've kind of saw. King of Tokyo, I think because of just how well it's gone with most of the youth that I've played with, and with just like literally any game group I could play, and we have a good time, and it just connects. That's why it has so much staying power. Um, and so yeah, like it's crazy. I think it's less surprising that it's this high, but it's just more surprising that it continues to stay towards the top. Azul, I last year when I did my top 50, I didn't have it ranked, but I said it would be in the top however much, and so it's good to see that one there. Sentinels, I mean, I thought it would be higher, but looking at what's here, I'm not surprised either. And then we go to the top 10. And this doesn't surprise me. You have Unmatched and Root, which are like my two favorite games. You have Shadows and Camel Up. Shadows is one I need to get to the table more often, but it's still solid. Camel Up is another similar to King of Tokyo. It's just a classic, and I love pulling that one out. One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I have that higher than Dead Last. That's one I would switch. Because Dead Last is 100% my favorite party game. But I think when I ended up getting higher, especially because it was paired with Disney Villainous, right? And so it ended up getting higher. What I would do is I'd probably put Dead Last in 5, One Night 6, Disney Villainous 7. Granted, I have played One Night Ultimate more than I have Dead Last, and that might have also been a huge factor. I know it was when it was Villainous, but that is a factor here for that as well. But yeah, interesting. This, and then, I mean, Neuroshima and Exceed were like, they can be almost interchangeable there. And then I'm pleasantly pleased. I'm pleased to see Tiny Epic Kingdoms is still in the top 10 despite not getting too many plays, but it just, I don't know, it holds a special place in my heart. So there we go. My top 192 games. I did it. We made it, guys and girls. We have I'm never doing this again. This is going to be the only, if I were to do this again, guaranteed I might just take the top 100 plus like a couple of other, like maybe grabbing like Charterstone or Between Two Castles or Redemption. Grab a couple that I think might have changed, and then like whatever I added on. We'll see if this is a mainstay, but I will never. This is the only time you will see me rank anything this extensive for a while, and even then, like doing 100 and some takes quite a bit. But yeah, that's crazy. Thank you so much for sticking around. For those who did end up sticking around. We'll be right back with some board games. Here we go.